I found a protection in my wife's car, exposed her cheating and divorced immediately. The Chicago skyline has always been my backdrop, a testament to resilience and possibility. I'm Alistair Cook, a 28-year-old loyal American project manager whose life was once a carefully woven tapestry of love, ambition, and unwavering commitment. My story with Amora Bell begins long before the day everything fell apart. It starts with a dream, a passion, and a love so profound it seemed unbreakable. Growing up in the south side of Chicago, I learned early that success wasn't handed to you. It was earned through relentless determination. My parents, my father a postal worker, my mother a high school teacher, instilled in me a work ethic that would become my greatest strength. Education was our family's sacred path. While other kids were playing video games, I was buried in books, understanding that every page turned was a step towards a better future. My corporate journey wasn't just a career, it was a mission. I climbed the ranks at a top technology firm, facing challenges that would have broken lesser men. Being a black man in a predominantly white corporate environment meant I had to be twice as good, twice as smart, twice as dedicated. And I was. My colleagues respected me not just for my skills, but for my integrity and vision. Amora Bell entered my life like an unexpected masterpiece. She was everything I never knew I wanted, a white graphic designer with dreams as vast as the Lake Michigan horizon. Our first meeting was nothing short of cinematic. It was a crisp October morning, the kind where Chicago's energy crackles with possibility. She was struggling with a cascade of art portfolios, paintbrushes scattered like fallen leaves, her frustration evident in every movement. I remember how the sunlight caught her golden hair, how her blue eyes reflected a mixture of determination and vulnerability. Without hesitation, I helped her gather her belongings. Our hands touched briefly, and something inexplicable passed between us. A connection that defied racial boundaries, societal expectations, and previous heartbreaks. Our courtship was a beautiful symphony of contrasts. I was structured, strategic, methodical. She was wild, creative, spontaneous. Where I saw spreadsheets, she saw color palettes. Where I calculated risks, she embraced possibilities. We complemented each other in ways that seemed almost magical. My family's initial reservations about our interracial relationship melted away as they saw the depth of our connection. I pursued Amora with the same intensity I applied to my professional life. Surprise weekend getaways to art galleries in New York, custom-designed jewelry that celebrated her artistic spirit, private design workshops with renowned artists. No expense was spared. My love wasn't just about grand gestures. It was about understanding her deepest dreams and making them a reality. Our wedding was a celebration of love that transcended social constructs. We deliberately chose a venue that represented our journey, the Chicago Cultural Center, a historic landmark symbolizing unity and diversity. My extended family, dressed in their finest, sat alongside her more conservative Midwestern relatives. We were a statement, a living testament that love knows no color, no boundary. In the first years of our marriage, I was the husband every woman claimed she wanted. I supported Amora's graphic design dreams unconditionally. When she wanted to start her own design studio, I helped her secure funding. When she needed the latest design software, I ensured she had it. Her art became our shared passion, her success my greatest pride. Our Lincoln Park townhouse was more than a home. It was a canvas of our love. I had personally overseen its renovation, ensuring every detail reflected Amora's artistic sensibilities. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, a dedicated art studio with natural lighting, a kitchen designed for her love of experimental cooking. No detail was too small, no dream too grand. Little did I know that beneath this seemingly perfect exterior, a storm was brewing. A betrayal so profound it would not just end our marriage, but would challenge everything I believed about love, trust, and commitment. The morning everything changed started like any other Saturday. Sunlight streaming through our bedroom windows, the aroma of fresh coffee, the soft rustling of Amora's design magazines. I was preparing to run an errand, reaching into her car's glove compartment for insurance documents, when my hand touched something that would shatter our world forever. A small, discreet protection, a condom, hidden strategically, definitely not intended for our marital use. In that single moment, the carefully constructed world I had built began to crumble, piece by agonizing piece. My journey from that point would become a testament to survival, to understanding that true love begins with self-respect. This is the story of Alistair Cook, a man who learned that sometimes the most devastating betrayals come from the person you least expect. The evidence of destruction, when love becomes a lie. The moment I discovered that condom in Amora's car was like a thunderbolt splitting my reality into before and after. My hands trembled, not from weakness, but from a rising storm of rage, pain, and disbelief that was brewing inside me. We hadn't used protection in years. Our attempts to start a family had been a mutual dream, discussed in whispered conversations during late-night cuddles and lazy Sunday mornings. I was a methodical man. My entire professional career had been built on attention to detail, on understanding complex systems and uncovering hidden truths. Now, I would apply those same skills to unraveling the web of lies that had become my marriage. My first move was calculated. I didn't confront Amora immediately. Instead, I began gathering evidence with the precision of a detective. Her phone records became my first point of investigation. Late-night calls to a number I didn't recognize. Text messages deleted frantically, but not before digital footprints could be traced. The number belonged to Mark Reynolds, her personal trainer at the exclusive downtown Chicago gym, a man I had once trusted, who had been a part of our social circle. I had even recommended him to Amora, believing his fitness classes would help her achieve her health and wellness goals. The irony was devastating. Bank statements told another part of the story. Unexplained expenses, weekend charges at boutique hotels, dinner reservations at romantic restaurants on days when she claimed to be working late on design projects. Each piece of evidence was another knife twisting into my heart, cutting away the illusion of our perfect marriage. I remembered how supportive I had been of her fitness journey. The personal training sessions were my gift to her, a way to support her health and confidence. I had paid for the expensive gym membership, encouraged her dedication, praised her commitment to wellness, and all this time, those training sessions were nothing more than a cover for her betrayal. Social media became another battlefield of truth. Subtle interactions, likes, comments, deleted conversations, the digital breadcrumbs of an affair that had been happening right under my nose. Mark's Instagram showed cryptic posts, gym selfies that now felt like silent declarations of their secret relationship. Our mutual friends became unwitting sources of information, casual comments, awkward silences, the way some conversations would die when I entered a room. The pitying looks that I had mistaken for concern were actually knowledge of my wife's infidelity. I recalled every moment of suspicion I had dismissed, the late nights at the design studio, the increased focus on her appearance, the sudden distance, the emotional withdrawal that I had attributed to work stress. Each memory was now recontextualized, painted in the harsh light of betrayal. My professional success had always been about reading between the lines, about understanding complex systems and human behavior. Now, I turned those skills inward, dissecting my own marriage with surgical precision. Every text, every call, every unexplained absence became evidence in the case of my broken trust. The most painful discoveries were the intimate ones. A hotel receipt from a boutique downtown, lingerie receipts from stores I had never bought her gifts from, perfume scents that weren't her signature fragrance. Small details that told a story of passion and deceit. I was a black man who had fought against every stereotype, who had built his life on integrity, hard work, and unwavering commitment. And my wife, the woman I had loved, supported, elevated, had reduced our entire relationship to a disposable moment of betrayal. The condom in the glove compartment was more than just a piece of latex. It was a symbol of everything that had been destroyed. Our dreams of a family, our promises to each other, the life we had built together, brick by carefully placed brick. As I compiled my evidence, a cold resolve began to replace the initial shock. I would not be a victim. I would be the architect of my own justice. Amora would learn that betrayal comes with consequences, and I would ensure those consequences were swift, decisive, and complete. My marriage was over. But my life, my future, was just beginning. The moment of reckoning, when lies collapse. The morning I decided to confront Amora was calculated with the precision of a military operation. I had spent weeks gathering evidence, building an irrefutable case that would expose every single lie she had carefully constructed. Our Lincoln Park townhouse, once a sanctuary of love and dreams, now felt like a crime scene waiting to be exposed. I remember every detail of that morning with crystalline clarity. The sunlight filtering through the expensive curtains I had personally selected, the smell of her favorite French roast coffee brewing in the kitchen, the soft rustling of her design magazines spread across the marble countertop. Everything looked perfect, a carefully curated illusion of domestic bliss. Amora was dressed for her morning design meeting, her blonde hair perfectly styled, designer blouse pressed immaculately. She had no idea that her carefully constructed world was about to come crashing down. The confident stride, the casual kiss she attempted to plant on my cheek, everything felt like an elaborate performance. "We need to talk," I said, my voice calm but loaded with 1,000 unspoken accusations. I spread the evidence across our dining table, bank statements, hotel receipts, screenshot messages, the condom from her car. Each piece of documentation was a dagger aimed directly at the heart of her deception. The color drained from her face, her perfect makeup suddenly looking like a mask about to slip. "Alistair, I can explain," she started. But I raised my hand, the same hand that had protected her, provided for her, lifted in a gesture that silenced her immediately. I recounted every single detail. The late-night calls to Mark, the hotel receipts, the unexplained expenses, the hidden protection. Each revelation was a blow, not just to her character, but to everything we had built together. I spoke with the clinical precision of a prosecutor presenting an airtight case. Her initial defense was a mixture of denial and manipulation, tears that seemed rehearsed, explanations that sounded like badly written scripts. She tried to turn the narrative, to make herself the victim, but I had seen through her tactics long before this moment. "How long?" I asked. Not with anger, but with a cold, calculated precision that scared her more than any shouting could. The truth came out in fragments, not a short-lived mistake, but a calculated affair spanning nearly 8 months. Mark wasn't just her trainer. He had become her secret life. Every moment of intimacy we had shared, every promise we had made, had been a lie. I thought about everything I had done for her. The design studio I helped her establish, the expensive art classes, the custom jewelry, the vacations, the unwavering support that defined our relationship. All of it had been repaid with the most profound betrayal imaginable. "Do you have any idea what you've destroyed?" I asked, my voice a dangerous whisper. The confrontation wasn't just about the affair, it was about trust, about the promises we had made, about the future we had planned. Children we had discussed, a life we had carefully constructed, now reduced to ashes of betrayal. Amora's attempts to manipulate the situation became increasingly desperate. She tried to blame workplace stress. She attempted to minimize the affair. She even tried to turn the conversation to my work demands. But I had heard every possible excuse, and I was done listening. I want a divorce, I stated. Not as a question, not as a negotiation, but as a final, irrevocable statement. The look in her eyes changed, from manipulation to genuine fear. She realized this wasn't a moment she could talk her way out of. This was the end, absolute and final. As a successful project manager, I understood the importance of clean, decisive action. My divorce would be as meticulously planned as my most complex professional projects. I would protect my assets, my reputation, and my future. The story of Alistair and Amora was over, but my story, my true story, was just beginning. The battlefield of divorce, protecting my future, reclaiming my soul. Divorce isn't just the end of a marriage. It's a war fought on multiple fronts, legal, emotional, financial, and personal. And I, Alistair Cook, was going to fight this war with every ounce of strategic precision I had learned in my professional life. I didn't just hire a lawyer. I recruited Maria Rodriguez, the most formidable divorce attorney in Chicago. A woman known for her ruthless approach and impeccable record of protecting her clients' interests. Our first meeting was less a consultation and more a strategic planning session for total legal warfare. Everything she thinks is hers isn't, Maria explained, spreading financial documents across her conference room table. You funded her entire life, her design studio, your investment, the townhouse, purchased with your hard-earned money, her car, your purchase. We're going to ensure you walk away with what you deserve. The evidence of Amora's affair became my most potent weapon. In Illinois, infidelity could significantly impact divorce proceedings. Each piece of documentation, hotel receipts, text messages, phone records, was meticulously organized. I had transformed my pain into a weapon of legal precision. My corporate background became my greatest asset. Years of managing complex projects translated perfectly into managing this legal battle. I documented every expense, tracked every financial contribution, created spreadsheets that told the story of our financial history with mathematical accuracy. Amora's lawyer tried multiple strategies. They attempted to paint me as an aggressive, controlling husband. They tried to minimize the affair. They even suggested that my work demands had driven her to seek emotional connection elsewhere. But I was prepared for every possible argument. Financial discovery became my obsession. I pulled bank statements dating back years, credit card records, investment portfolios. Every single financial transaction was scrutinized. I wanted to ensure that not a single penny of my hard-earned money would be unjustly claimed by someone who had betrayed me. The design studio I had helped her establish became a key point of contention. I had invested over $250,000 of our joint funds into her business, equipment, marketing, initial operational costs, all funded by my corporate salary. Now that investment would be a crucial part of our divorce settlement. Mutual friends became unexpected allies and sources of information. Subtle conversations, carefully worded statements, professional networking contacts, all provided additional context to our marital breakdown. The social web of our life became another battlefield of truth. Therapy became my unexpected sanctuary, not as a victim seeking sympathy, but as a strategic approach to emotional healing. I found a Black therapist who understood the complex intersections of race, relationship dynamics, and personal trauma. Each session was a step towards reconstruction, not just healing. The legal proceedings were a masterclass in strategic dismantling. Depositions became opportunities to expose the depth of Amora's betrayal. Her trainer, Mark, was forced to provide uncomfortable testimonies. Text messages were entered as evidence. The facade of our perfect marriage was systematically destroyed. Financial division was calculated with surgical precision. I ensured that every investment, every joint account, every shared asset was divided based on my direct contributions. The townhouse would be sold, with proceeds split after accounting for my initial down payment and mortgage contributions. My family became my fortress during this time. My parents, who had always taught me about resilience, stood firmly by my side. They understood that this wasn't just a personal battle, but a statement about integrity, self-respect, and the ability to rise above betrayal. Professional success became my most powerful revenge. I didn't allow this personal setback to impact my career. If anything, the discipline and strategic thinking required in my divorce made me an even more effective project manager. My work became a testament to my ability to navigate complex, emotionally charged situations. The divorce was finalized 7 months after my initial discovery, not with a whimper, but with a precise legal document that represented my total victory. Amora would receive minimal settlement, her affair exposed, her reputation in our social and professional circles significantly damaged. But this wasn't about revenge. This was about reclaiming my narrative, about proving that betrayal doesn't define you, how you respond to it does. I was Alistair Cook, survivor, strategist, a man who turned his greatest personal pain into his most profound personal triumph. The painful path of healing. The aftermath of divorce is never linear. It's a complex landscape of emotions where healing isn't a straight line, but a series of zigzags of steps forward and painful retreats. For me, Alistair Cook, healing was going to be as intentional and strategic as every other aspect of my life. My first step was therapy, but not the kind of passive, sit-and-talk therapy most people imagine. I sought out Dr. Marcus Jordan, a black psychologist specializing in trauma recovery and male emotional healing. Our sessions were less about wallowing and more about reconstruction. Betrayal doesn't define you, Dr. Jordan would say during our intense sessions. It's a chapter in your story, not the entire book. I approached healing like a professional project. I created a personal development plan with measurable goals, emotional recovery metrics, mental health check-ins, physical wellness targets. Each week, I would assess my progress with the same rigor I applied to my corporate projects. Physical transformation became my initial sanctuary. I joined a high-intensity training gym, channeling my pain into physical strength. 6 days a week, I would push my body to its limits. Weight training, mixed martial arts, advanced cardio. Each drop of sweat was a testimony to my resilience. My body transformed. Where once I was a corporate professional with a lean build, I became muscular, powerful. My physical transformation mirrored my internal reconstruction. Every muscle built was a statement. I was rebuilding myself piece by piece. Professional success became my most potent form of therapy. I took on more challenging projects at work, demonstrating that personal pain would not compromise my professional excellence. Promotions followed. Challenging international assignments came my way. I was proving that betrayal was not my endpoint, but merely a difficult intersection. Dating was not something I rushed into. Dr. Jordan helped me understand the importance of emotional readiness. Healing is not about replacement, he would remind me. It's about understanding, growing, and becoming whole. My social circle transformed. Some mutual friends disappeared, unable to navigate the complexity of our divorce. Others became unexpected pillars of support. I learned the true meaning of friendship during this period, those who stand with you during storms, not just during sunshine. Family became my greatest source of strength. My parents, who had always taught me about resilience, provided unwavering support. Sunday family dinners became my emotional reset button. Their wisdom, their unconditional love, became my emotional foundation. Financial independence took on a new meaning. Beyond the divorce settlement, I invested heavily in personal development. Online courses, leadership workshops, advanced professional certifications. I was going to turn this personal setback into a professional launching pad. Travel became my unexpected healing mechanism. I took strategic solo trips, Japan for professional networking, a meditation retreat in Bali, a leadership conference in Singapore. Each journey was not an escape, but a deliberate step in my personal reconstruction. My art collection, something Amora and I had curated together, was carefully divided. Some pieces I kept as memories, others I sold. Each artwork represented a moment, a memory that I was now reframing, reinterpreting through my new lens of understanding. Dating eventually entered my radar, but not as a desperate attempt to replace what was lost. I was selective, approaching potential relationships with the wisdom of someone who'd been through fire and emerged stronger. Rediscovering love and purpose. As months turned into a year, I realized healing wasn't about forgetting, it was about integration. Understanding that my experience with Amora was part of my journey, not a definition of my worth. My approach to potential relationships was methodical. No longer would I be blindly romantic. I sought genuine connection, mutual respect, shared values. I was looking for a partner, not just a companion. Professional speaking opportunities began to emerge. My story of resilience, of navigating personal trauma while maintaining professional excellence, became inspirational. I started sharing my journey at leadership conferences, at men's wellness workshops. Dating introduced me to Christina Martinez, a brilliant environmental lawyer who understood complex narratives. Our connection was different, built on mutual respect, shared intellectual curiosity, and genuine emotional intelligence. Christina didn't just hear my story, she understood it. Where Amora had been about surface-level connections, Christina represented depth, authenticity, mutual growth. Our relationship wasn't a rebound, it was a thoughtful, intentional connection. We took things slowly, meaningful conversations, shared experiences, mutual personal and professional respect. By the end of the second year after my divorce, I had transformed entirely. Not just survived, but thrived. My professional reputation was stronger, my emotional intelligence was deeper, my understanding of love was more nuanced, more mature. I was no longer defined by betrayal. I was defined by resilience, by my ability to turn pain into purpose. Rising from the ashes of betrayal. 3 years after my divorce, I stood on a stage at the Chicago Leadership Summit, looking out over a crowd of professionals, my story no longer a personal wound, but a powerful narrative of transformation. The journey from betrayal to triumph had been more than just a personal recovery, it had become a mission of inspiration. My professional life had reached new heights. I wasn't just a project manager anymore, I was now a senior executive at a global tech firm. My reputation built not just on my technical skills, but on my ability to navigate complex human dynamics. The very skills that helped me survive my personal crisis became my greatest professional asset. The speaking circuit became my unexpected platform. I began sharing my story, not as a victim, but as a survivor. Workshops on resilience, leadership, and personal growth became my new passion. Young professionals, especially men of color, found inspiration in my journey of emotional reconstruction. My relationship with Christina had evolved into something profound. We weren't just partners, we were true collaborators. She understood my journey, respected my path, and saw me as a complete, multifaceted individual. Where Amora had seen a provider, Christina saw a partner. The design studio I had initially helped Amora establish, the one she had betrayed me for, had an unexpected epilogue. Through legal proceedings, I retained partial ownership. Instead of selling, I transformed it into a mentorship program for young designers from underserved communities. My family became the cornerstone of my new narrative. My parents, who had witnessed my pain and supported my healing, now celebrated my transformation. Sunday family dinners were no longer moments of quiet support, but celebrations of resilience. Professional recognition followed my personal growth. Awards for leadership, speaking engagements at international conferences. My story of turning personal trauma into professional excellence became a case study in emotional intelligence. Dating and relationships took on a new meaning. I wasn't searching for completion. I was building a partnership of equals. Christina understood this. Our relationship was built on mutual respect, shared goals, and genuine emotional connection. My approach to love had fundamentally changed. No longer was I the naive provider who believed unconditional support guaranteed loyalty. I had learned that love was a two-way street, built on mutual respect, transparency, and shared values. The wisdom of survival. Lessons learned. Looking back, I realized my divorce wasn't an ending. It was a profound beginning. Each painful moment had been a lesson, each betrayal an opportunity for growth. To young men watching my story, especially men of color, I had a message. Your worth is not defined by someone else's actions. Betrayal is a moment, not a lifetime. Healing is a choice you make every single day. My lessons were hard-earned. Trust is earned, not given. Relationships are partnerships, not transactions. Love requires continuous investment from both sides. Loyalty isn't just about physical fidelity, but about emotional commitment. I learned that vulnerability is not weakness. Sharing my story, my pain, my recovery became my greatest strength. Each time I spoke, I saw recognition in the eyes of my audience. Men and women who had experienced similar pain. Financial independence became more than just a concept. It was a form of emotional freedom. I had learned to build my worth beyond relationship dynamics. My career, my personal growth, my potential, these were not dependent on any romantic partnership. My relationship with Christina represented everything I had learned. We were partners, equals, supporting each other's dreams while maintaining individual identities. No longer was I the provider who expected gratitude, but a true collaborative partner. The Design Studio Mentorship Program became my most meaningful project. Young designers from backgrounds similar to mine found support, guidance, and hope. My personal pain had transformed into a platform for community empowerment. To Amora, wherever she was, I had no anger left. Only gratitude for the lessons learned. She had been a chapter in my story, not the entire book. My narrative was still being written, and it was more beautiful than anything I could have imagined. My final message was always one of hope. Betrayal is not the end of your story. It's merely a plot twist. How you respond, how you grow, how you transform, that's what truly defines you. I was Alistair Cook, survivor, leader, a man who turned his greatest personal pain into his most profound personal triumph. A message to our viewers. This journey wasn't just my story. It's a beacon of hope for anyone who's ever felt betrayed, broken, or lost. To every person watching, remember this. Your pain is not your prison. It's your potential. Whether you're dealing with heartbreak, professional challenges, or personal struggles, know that you have the strength to rise. Your past does not define you. Your response to it does. If my story touched your heart, if it gave you even a moment of hope, then I've achieved something greater than personal healing. I've created connection. Subscribe to our channel. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Your support means we can continue sharing real, raw, transformative stories that inspire, heal, and empower. Remember, you are stronger than your worst moment. You are more resilient than your deepest pain. Your story is still being written. Stay strong, stay hopeful, keep fighting. Alistair Cook.